If I understand what I've just seen, in the near future you'll be able to use a PlayStation Vita just like a Wii U. Can anyone smell a lawsuit? Hello and welcome to Koopa Talk Live, Part 5 of our E3 extravaganza, where we cover the Sony press conference for E3 2012. Let's go ahead and start, of course, as we've done with all these, with the just basic impressions of the press conference in general.
It was okay. It really didn't jump out at me. There's a few games I liked, and as for overall presentation, kind of boring. I expected a little bit more.
Yeah, it was just kind of slow in between the games.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see it, it's weird, because for years I've been told by, people upon people, usually Microsoft or Nintendo fans, that they can't stand the Sony press conferences because they're boring. And I've always fought against them, but this time they were right. I can kind of see how they could call this one boring. I mean, we'll see what they have, coming up in the future. They've got so much stuff from last year's E3 that they showed off for the Vita, HD remakes, all kinds of stuff they talked about last year that still isn't out yet. So I don't think the fact there was a lack of games this year and the fact that we basically know that next year's going to be the next generation of consoles, I don't think we really have to worry too much. I can kind of understand why their offerings were so light, Yeah.
I guess time will tell. What seems to be the trend for this E3 is that you really got to hop on the internet and look at, the demonstrations and things that happened outside of the press conferences to get the goods. Tomb Raider is a great example. No real information was given about that in the Microsoft press conference. What was the other one? South Park. They talked about that a lot, like outside of the press conference. I'm just kind of curious how much Sony news we can expect tonight and tomorrow and the next day that was not even touched upon on the press conference, because I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of thinking maybe there's more.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the reason. I was going to say, that's part of the reason why we do. That's the thing. Is after Nintendo, the E3 extravaganza for KTL is not over. For those of you who this is your first time catching the KTL E3 extravaganza, next Sunday, we're going to be doing our postmortem show, which is where we're going to catch all the other news that came out of E3 that wasn't necessarily in the press conferences, and we're going to get the fan feedback. So, if there is anything else that, just kind of was around E3 or was being shown off at E3 that they just didn't show at the big 5 shows, you're definitely still going to get to hear about that here on Koopa Talk Live. So we'll all find out, I guess, Sunday.
Yeah.
So everybody feeling good, ready to get into some games?
Yep.
Games.
All right. Well, anybody who knows me, anybody who's probably listened to any random episode of KTL, knows about my love for David Cage, Quantic Dreams, and, of course, Heavy Rain. It's just one of those things that I consider make this generation incredibly special and make the PS3 as a platform incredibly special. Well, now we have some idea of David Cage's next project, which is Beyond Two Souls. Impressions?
I want it.
I want it too. Okay, so 3 people want it. Chat room? Do I hear 4, 5, 6? Basically, what we got was a treatment of the story. I guess this literally is like the first kind of teaser trailer or trailer that we're seeing. So we got a taste of the story, but I'm only assuming that it's basically Heavy Rain meets Infamous, but maybe like the play control and the style of Heavy Rain. I'm only assuming that it's in the style of Heavy Rain. We don't know because all we saw was a cinematic.
To be fair, to be fair about what you just said, both the games that Quantic Dreams have developed have used basically the exact same game style. I mean, there is definitely some differences between Indigo Prophecy and Heavy Rain, but more or less you're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, and it's just like, at this point we don't know, but I'm assuming, I think we're all assuming that it's going to, if you liked Heavy Rain, you're going to like this game.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, even if they do take that same kind of gameplay style or that same engine, because the graphics look almost identical to Heavy Rain. They look like they're very much done the same engine. But I mean, if the gameplay style is, very much the same, is anybody here going to complain about that? I'm not.
No, I wasn't complaining. I was just
I wasn't implying that anyone was.
We don't know. I'm just kind of assuming, because I'm just kind of pointing out the fact that, we saw a trailer and we don't really know what to expect from the finished game. As a longtime gamer, I need to try to train myself to believe, prepare, hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah.
I had something I was going to say, but I forgot it. Oh, I was going to say, I personally thought it looked at least twice as good as Heavy Rain graphically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Heavy Rain, they kind of, perfected the technology.
Yeah. Plus the actress that they got to play the lead character, Elaine Page, I want to say.
Yeah. Oh my god, so fucking hot. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I've seen a couple of her films. If she brings the same type of performance as she does from her movies to this game, it's gonna be. I'm at a loss for words here.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the day and age that we live in now, is the kind of games I'm into and you guys are, more or less into, like these, they really kind of rest on what actors did they hire?
Yeah.
Is the acting in the game going to be good or is it going to be bad, And that was kind of one of the things that some critics had to say about Heavy Rain. So it's like they went out and they hired themselves a Hollywood actress.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I personally didn't think that the acting in Heavy Rain was all that bad. Just like everybody else, I make fun of the classic, Jason Mall scene. But other than that, I actually thought that it was really good. It was believable acting to me. It didn't feel like it was staged at all. It all felt pretty damn real.
Yeah.
And that's what you want out of that kind of a game, to me.
Yeah, I don't get the critics there.
Yeah. But either way, so just final thoughts on that would be, I guess all three of us are definitely buying it.
Yep.
All right, now this next game, I know for sure I am going to buy and probably sink 100 hours of my time into. I have no clue where you guys stand on this. I'm just going to throw out that I want this game. I wanted this game for a long time, ever since I first heard about it. So that's really all as far as my thoughts go. So I'd really like to see what you guys think, which was the PlayStation All-Stars.
All I gotta say is a guy playing Kratos sucked.
Kratos got his ass kicked.
Yeah, but other than that, it was a good game.
I mean, basically the only reason why I can see anybody hating this game is if they never touched like Super Smash Brothers or Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you played either Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. Melee and had any fun with that, there should be no reason why you shouldn't be all over this game.
Well, people are going to hate it because gamers are dumb like that. They're going to be like, oh, it's a fucking ripoff. Fuck that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you make a good point. I'm just saying that a large portion of the gaming community dismisses things rather quickly.
See, by the way, can I ask a stupid question real quick? This is a little off topic, but it's just a stupid question, and in all honesty, I'd like feedback on this, because I don't understand this. In gaming, the idea of duplication of having somebody duplicate something that did really well, just with the certain tweaks and things like that, is looked down upon. Yet, if you go out to eat and go to a new place and have an amazing steak, you're going to go back to that place again and get that steak again, and probably again, and probably again. Why is that not okay in gaming?
I don't know. It makes no fucking sense. Years ago people were like, oh, fuck Dante's Inferno, that's just like God of War. And I'm sitting there like, but God of War is fucking awesome. Do you really want to wait until the next game, or do you want to pick up Dante's Inferno right fucking now? And the same thing with Tomb Raider, which is really fucking ironic. The chat room a-holes, not our chat room, but the people, at Game Trailers and GameSpot, were bitching about Tomb Raider because it looks a lot like Uncharted. Well, I fucking want more Uncharted. From the first moment I played Uncharted, I was like, okay, now I hope, because the irony there is the people that made Uncharted were inspired by Tomb Raider. And now Tomb Raider has come along and they're inspired by Uncharted. If you ask any game developer, basically right there, that's kind of the history of gaming as it has always been. Everybody tries to one-up each other. They steal and borrow each other's ideas, and it makes gaming better.
Yeah. And back to my steak analogy. Somebody comes up with cooks a steak, and another person goes, that's pretty good, but I think I know how to make that steak better. You're still eating a steak. It's just now it's been seasoned differently, prepared differently, and cooked differently. It's still a fucking steak, but guess what? You may enjoy that steak more than the first steak that was originally created. In fact, you probably will. 9 times out of 10 in most cases.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. Mike?
I can't explain it, so...
Yeah. It's one of those things that just really doesn't make sense.
I don't know. Sorry to go off on that. It's just you brought it up, and I had to throw that out there. All right, let's... so, either of you guys, out of curiosity, even going to be curious about either just, buying or even renting PlayStation All-Stars? I need somebody to play with, damn it.
I'm going to be renting it for sure, depending on the selection of characters and gameplay. I may buy it.
I'm passing on it. Maybe it's because I'm just not a fighter fan, but I played the Mario Brothers one, and I don't get why people really love that fucking game. So maybe it's the fact that I don't like fighting games. I don't know.
I fucking hate fighting games. I don't own a single fighting game at all. I love Super Smash Bros. Melee because to me it comes almost to the point of stupid fun. I can't explain it. I think it's because of the fact that there's a bit more luck and a bit more randomization in it than like a Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or Marvel vs. Capcom, where it's more or less, purely if somebody is better at you than the game, they're going to kick your ass almost every single time. And there's a pure, immediate kind of skill level there. Whereas with games like a Super Smash Brothers or a PlayStation All-Stars, it's very much about kind of, to a degree, luck of the draw, the way that you play it out that particular game, the way you pull off your supers, when you pull off your supers, deciding to level them up, deciding not to level them up. There's so many different damn variables that it's not a matter of just training yourself. It's a matter of, just let's see how the outcome hits this time.
Yeah. I don't really hate on any video games, as we were just kind of saying. I don't get that part of gaming. I don't hate the game or anything. It was a game I tried, and I didn't, it wasn't my kind of game.
Exactly. Let's go ahead and move on here real quick then to the next thing that was, kind of worth mentioning was what I found interesting was that they were showing the Little Big Planet tech, and they were showing using the Vita in combination with the PlayStation 3 controller, and the way that they were using the Vita, to me, was basically the exact same functionality and concept design behind the Wii U.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hope, as I said in the Microsoft KoopaTalk Live episode, I am in favor of this tech. If they give me, my menu screen on the PS Vita while I'm sitting there playing my PS3 game, that's awesome. I just hope, as I said, I'm not opposed to other people stealing other people's ideas. And Microsoft and Sony came along and stole Nintendo's idea. I mean, arguably they had all those same plans with the PSP when that first came out. You were going to be able to use that in conjunction with certain games and stuff. And unfortunately, they never did it. So I'm just like, please, Sony, do it. If they just integrate, the Vita into games like that, like Little Big Planet, where my friend can sit there and have a whole screen to herself, and I can sit there and have the TV to myself, or vice versa. That would be awesome. That would convince me to buy a Vita if they really start integrating the Vita with the PS3 and the PS4.
My only problem with that is the idea of, in so many of these cases, it sounds like you're going to have to more or less buy these games twice, or buy the $60 version of the PS3/PS4 version, and then buy the $40 version of the Vita.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'd like to see things, I'd like to see PS Vita apps that are add-ons to PS3 games. I agree.
All right, we're going to go a little bit out of order here because of the fact that Mr. Michael Deal here has to leave here in just about a minute or two. So there's one part of the Sony press conference that I really want to get kind of his thoughts and pick his brain on before he takes off, and then he's going to kind of disappear, and me and Justin here are going to finish up the coverage. So, Mike, before you take off, I just really like to get your thoughts on the Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation for PlayStation Vita, and if that by chance gives you, any desire to pick up a Vita at all, and also what you thought of the the ship sequences in Assassin's Creed 3 that were shown off.
Overall, yeah, okay, I'll do that after.
Last of Us.
I'll cover those two. Yeah, I'll cover those two real quick.
I've got nothing to say about Last of Us. I don't know if Justin does, so we'll let Mike just take on these three topics real quick.
Okay, as for Assassin's Creed 3 on the PlayStation Vita, the graphics looked okay to me. If they could refine it by the time it's released, I'd probably pick it up. The overall, hold on. Quick question, was the ship sequence for both PS3 and Vita?
No, the ship sequence they were showing off was for PS3.
Okay. I was going to say, the ship sequence was fun. I'm not sure if it really has any bias on if I would buy the game or not, but overall it was good. Now, if the PlayStation 3 Vita Assassin's Creed 3 game does come out, I'll probably find somebody who has a Vita first and try it out that way, because I'm cheap like that.
Okay. One thing I want to say, just because of the fact that we're not going to come back to the Assassin's Creed thing, just before you move on to The Last of Us, is that Assassin's Creed 3 part with the pirate ship, or sorry, I keep wanting to say pirate ship, with the ship, just made me realize how much I want like a legitimate pirate game. Where you spend like 90% of the gameplay, on the ship, and you have to build relationships with your crew and everything else like that, and you have to, go to different islands, stuff like that, and, try to find treasure and all that shit, and if you don't find enough wealth or don't amass enough wealth in enough time, you have to convince your crew not to fucking mutiny and chop off your head and shit, and just, like, randomly, out of nowhere, other, ships and shit like that will try to fucking board you and crap, and you have to, do cannon play and all that, and if you don't blow them up quick enough, they'll fucking shoot lines at your ship and cross over, and you have to do, hand-to-hand sword fights and shit, and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
Anybody else down for this?
Yeah, that'd be a good game, actually, now that you portray it that way.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, I just really wanted to get that out because that's all I was thinking while watching that. This is what I now want. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. I was going to say, and I've been the one so far in previous KTL episodes talking about it, sponsoring it, and putting it out there. I was overall happy with the gameplay. And the graphics and the rendering blew me away. It's been a while since I saw a game like this. And to have... I thought for a second that the little girl aspect was going to hold the gameplay back a little bit, but here I find her, she's going at it with a freaking stiletto and throwing a brick at this guy's head to give an opening for the fatal shot.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that and the mechanics of ammo is not that abundant, so you have to really strategize on how you're going to take this situation down, because I'm pretty sure you guys saw that whenever he was going to shoot the guy that was coming out of cover, he missed the first shot and then nailed him on the second one, which screwed him as soon as he got into that room, and he could dispatch that one guy with a good headshot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I can't wait till it comes out, and I'm going to keep looking for new information on it, hopefully for our post-mortem show.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've been very interested in The Last of Us, and I think the game looks great. I think the characters and the acting is exactly what we expect from Naughty Dog right now. But I couldn't help but actually change my opinion on the game. I thought the game was going to be a lot more open. I thought the enemies were going to be zombies or something. And maybe they are, but they move like humans. They shoot at you like humans. So I don't know. Time will tell whether or not I get reinterested in it. But as of right now, what we saw at the Sony E3 press conference kind of turned me against it, at least for the time being. It went from a game that I was going to be a must-buy to a game that I want to see a demo of. I want to, I'm not going to be pre-ordering it.
All right, well, looks like we're not getting Josh in on this, so we're going to go ahead and pick up here with the upgraded, at least I want to call it the upgraded PlayStation Plus offers. Or as I wrote on my notes, PlayStation Plus on crack. Justin, as somebody who is a PlayStation Plus user, what does this mean for you? What's kind of your level of excitement about this?
My PlayStation Plus subscription should be running out soon. I'm not sure exactly, what's going on with that, because they gave they gave everybody 3 more months, and if you already had a subscription, you got 3 more months. So I'm not sure exactly when it was ending, but I kind of decided that I would just let it lapse, because I'm just not gaming as much, and I just really have a problem with, the $20 or less downloadable games. The games that I do buy, for some reason, I play them once and never again. So the fact that PlayStation Plus is going to be moving from, offering Shank 2 and, great games like that to Infamous 2, Little Big Planet 2, Virtual Fighter 5, Saints Row 2, Just Cause 2, Chopper Lifter HD, it kind of gives me hope for the future that, some of those games that came out over the past year that I never got around to picking up, they might come down the pipeline for free with PlayStation Plus.
Which at that point, it's beyond worth the $60 you pay for the $50 you pay for the year.
Absolutely. And that's what's really amazing about it is it was already well worth the money. You were paying $50 and, you don't just download the games that you like. Don't, download everything or whatever. And then, count up how much, these games cost. And shit, I've got my $50 worth. I probably got $150 worth of games over the past year. And shit, if their plan is to come out with at least 4 disc-based games every month. They're starting off in June with 12. I don't know what the plan is for the future, maybe 4. But if their plan is to come out with disc-based games for the next year, fuck. I mean, if you only pick up the ones that you like, you're easily getting $200, $250 worth of games there.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. And I mean, I see something like, because they don't have a whole hell of a lot of disc-based games available on the PSN right now. The selection is definitely growing. But I'm thinking about things like Catherine, which I can't bring myself to spend $40 at GameStop for. They still want $40 for that game at GameStop. And, as much as I'm against also giving, the PlayStation Network $30 so that I can have a download file, which doesn't sit well with me either, I'll take a free copy of it that's a download file and not get to own the disc. That's perfectly fine. That's, that on top of everything else just makes that PlayStation Plus package that much more tempting.
Yeah. To me, what I kind of predict is over the past year, they've had 2 or 3 of those 60-minute trial games a month. What I think they're going to do with PlayStation Plus over the next year is you're going to just simply be getting those games for free. You're going to most likely see Red Dead Redemption free in the future. That's my prediction. You're most likely going to see LA Noire free. Basically, I assume what they're going to start doing is giving away free the games that they already offer. More kind of predictions is Mortal Kombat.
I can see that.
What was the other one? Oh, Mass Effect 2. Basically any of the games that they already offer, I think that's basically going to be the startup plan. And, I mean, they've announced, 6 games? So 6 more for June alone.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. What do you think about the Wonder Book?
Well, that's what's wrong with E3. There's no kids watching E3. They could make it shorter so, parents can look at that and say, okay, that looks really cool. I'm going to get that for my kid. It doesn't have to be a 5-10 minute demonstration when the kid's not there watching it.
Mm. No, I'm just going to say 2 things. I've got 2 thoughts on the Wonder Book, which is number one, I know it's probably the stupidest thing in the world, mixing the idea of an entertainment console and education together, but I could see some extreme potential and benefits if they actually did push this to an education spectrum.
Yeah,
I could see some for education.
That's where the market lies there. They have positioned themselves to make something better than, I think it's called Leapfrog?
Yeah, Leapfrog. You're thinking of Leapfrog, right?
Yeah. They've positioned themselves to make something that kids will enjoy more than that. They need to come out with games, to teach the various subjects taught in school. They need, that's their market.
Yeah. My whole thing is when I was saying education, I was thinking a little more grander than that. You're talking about, having it in like direct combination with Leapfrog. I'm talking about I'm thinking this thing could be an education tool from everything from preschoolers all the way up to college and university level. You could use it to teach everything from colors to algebra to logic and philosophy.
Well, I mean, I don't, I don't see anybody older than a middle schooler being interested in that, but I think the key to the success of that peripheral is they need to come out with a huge library of games, and if they're on disc, they need to be cheap, and make them downloadable. Make the entire catalog downloadable.
All right. Well, I think that basically wraps things up. Sony doing some weird, crazy stuff, kind of really breaking their mold. I mean, this is kind of the first year where it really hasn't been about, here's our gigantic list of exclusive titles that you can't, here's our gigantic list of experiences that you can only get from PlayStation, which they did still have some of that, but they were definitely focusing on, some more interesting things. We'll just have to see how it plays out for them over this next year until, E3 2013.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's everything? That's the show?
That's everything. That's it.
Now I kind of get why you were so depressed.
That's it.
Wow.